Hey everyone, I'm Veronica Belmont, and we are here at our live Google Hangout talking to the creators of Dust.Evolution, the new video game. The Kickstarter just launched today. We're very excited about it. I'm joined by Senior Creative Director Paolo Parente, and also, what's your title, Ariel? You're the founder of Pixel Warps and the studio director for Dust.Evolution. Is that correct?
That is correct. Thank you.
Well, thank you both so much for joining me.
Yeah, love to be here.
So, the new video game, Dust.Evolution, it's based off the world of Paolo's graphic novels. Can you give us a little bit of a background on that universe, and also where does it pick up from the storyline of the tabletop game or the graphic novels?
The graphic novels and the tabletop game share the same background, of course. It's a world that I imagined to please my love for World War II designs and miniature gaming. I created the comic book as a consequence, actually, of the first products when we launched with some action figures made in Hong Kong. And it takes place in an imaginary world that starts from real World War II history and gets twisted into this weird World War II thing, where we include alien technology and in the future also the presence of aliens on our planet, and we develop an alternate history with our graphic novels first, and then the board game with miniatures.
Okay, so it was actually, so the graphic novels came after the miniatures, after the tabletop version of the world came out?
Yes, but it was a few years ago, so in the eyes of the public, normally the graphic novel came first, and we developed the miniatures later. We started actually with big action figures, like, you know, the 12 inches G.I. Joe-like figures of the main characters. It was this way we started. 15 years ago.
Wow.
After that, the graphic novel, and 5 years ago we launched the miniature game. Dust.
So is there a consistent storyline that flows through the universe, or is it broken up into different stories?
The storyline is very consistent. We start telling our twisted history of World War II starting in 1938. There was an expedition that the Germans made to Antarctica to just, you know, drop some flags and claim those territories. We imagined that during that expedition, actually the Germans found a wrecked spacecraft from another planet. Inside the spacecraft, the wreck, they found one survivor in a cryogenic tank and a lot of unbelievable technology. They packed everything and brought back to Berlin. So by the time World War II started, we assumed the Germans were already learning from this alien technology and the new source of energy that powered it all. They discovered that this new source of energy is actually present also on our planet. They start studying it. Of course, it takes time, so the war starts, it goes on, as we know, and at the middle of the war, finally, during the Battle of Stalingrad, the Germans are able to deploy the first walkers. And from there, we really changed the history. Yeah.
So is everything coming from the German perspective, or are there different perspectives based on the axis of evil and the Allies, or is it just from that one point of view?
It's correct. We have three factions in our universe: the Axis, the Allies, and the Sino-Soviet. The new technology accelerates history. So in 1945 already, China becomes communist, joins the Soviet Union, and they become a very powerful bloc. The Axis is very powerful because they hold in their hands the alien technology, and the Allies, united, Great Britain, United States, all the Commonwealth, Brazil, they they are the third and powerful bloc, right? Through espionage, Allies and Soviets will learn about the technology, also capturing German walkers, and they will slowly keep up with their studies and the development of their walkers and new weapons. But for the moment, in 1947, where we set actually all our stories, the Germans still have the edge of technology, and they're pushing the Allies and the Soviets backwards, very aggressively.
Gotcha. So were you always a big history buff, or were you more of a sci-fi guy back in the past, or did you love both things and then just want to combine them into one unified universe?
You got it perfectly. I love both things. I've been a World War II modeler, building model kits since I was a kid. That was my biggest passion. I love comic books. I love science fiction. Building Dust was, for me, combining all my passions together in a universe that I could use for games, comic books, novels. I mean, the sky's the limit, right? So, yeah.
So you started as you were an artist and an illustrator. You worked on a lot of different IPs in the past, including Lord of the Rings and Magic the Gathering. What made you decide to build your own universe? I understand. I mean, I've spoken to people in the past who have gone that route, and just having to create that whole backstory, that whole foundation on which to build on is very, very time consuming. But it must be also really rewarding because you're creating your own content, not working on someone else's.
As an artist, yes, I've been working on so many projects and comic books in the past. I enjoy doing that, but I really felt the urge to develop my own. To create this universe where I could tell my own stories, and be even more free from a creative perspective. So yeah, it's time consuming, but it's also a lot of fun. I mean, it's a challenge for yourself. The biggest challenge to me was to keep everything consistent. Sometimes you have ideas and you want to develop them, and then on this one, but the universe, actually, to be really solid, need to be consistent. The designs need to be consistent. They need to have the flair of the time you're setting your universe and your stories. That's the real challenge, and it motivates me a lot, actually. Yeah, it's for me even a reason of pride to be able to succeed into giving sense to this universe from a graphic point of view and from a storytelling point of view.
Mm-hmm. Now there's a huge dedicated fan base for Dust Tactics and for the tabletop games. Do you think that community, and this is a question for Ariel as well, do you think this community will translate over into the video game world?
I think that partly they will do. Today, gamers love different type of games and entertainment. I know personally a lot of those fans for Dust Tactics. They're great guys, and yes, they love miniatures and they love computer games and video games. There is a part of them who are really only hardcore miniature games, and maybe they will not be interested in Dust.Evolution, but I think it's a minority. What do you think, Ariel?
It's definitely a cool mix. I mean, we all have this love for toys and the miniatures that come along with it. Action figures and model cars and tanks and all these little things that we play with. And now to have it come up as a video game, it's like the ultimate dream for all of us, because just like how Paolo said, blending sci-fi, World War II history together along with the rest, and I mean, it just melds with the comic books, and it's the perfect combination of all these different subsects of little geek categories that we're all into. It just melds perfectly together.
Paolo, what's it like seeing all these competitions around the world of people playing your game or using your miniatures or talking about your content? I mean, that must be so rewarding and exciting for you.
That's the word I was going to use. It's so rewarding. Um, I like to be close to my fans, to the players of the Tactics. I try to visit them and attend competitions and tournaments. Um, they give me a very warm welcome every time. They're passionate. Sometimes I have the impression they are more passionate than me, if possible. But yeah, they're really into it. They know the story very well. They keep asking me very interesting questions. It's a very active community. From an intellectual point of view and also from the modeling point of view, they bring over their conversions, they bring over their models, they want to discuss techniques. It's an amazing community. And you need to leave it to fully understand how rewarding it can be to see that what you create and is capable of stimulating other people so much and giving them energy. It's a wonderful sensation.
Now, where did you find the team to work on Dust.Evolution? Did you know a lot of people in the video gaming industry in the past? And of course, Ariel, feel free to jump in on this one as well because you're heavily involved in this aspect of it.
It's been as a very lucky coincidence, actually. As an artist, I worked on movies. I never worked on video games. I have fellow artists that I know very well who work in the video game industry, and that's all of what it is for me, the video game world. I mean, I'm kind of an outsider. The closest thing is illustration for Blizzard for their card game. But as I said before, a real experience in video games I never had. What is interesting in this team is the energy we have. I like the fact that I met these people and they loved us. For them, developing this game will not just be a job, it will be a mission. And it's a wonderful feeling. I mean, I like Ariel very much. We understand each other very well. Dale as well. He's a great person, and they get the essence of Dust very clearly, and they have a lot of trust in me.
We share the same passion for the World War II history aspect that Paolo has dove so much into with so much detail, and the way he's expanded it, because obviously World War II ended in '45, and the way he's just kept it going. So we share that same aspect, and then bringing it in with the cards, that with the model designs, the video game aspect of it. It's just a great part. That's why I'm glad that he decided to work with us. We definitely have some good experience on the team. Dale, our game director, senior game director, he worked on games for big brands like Coke. Like I've mentioned earlier, all the licensing experience that I've had come from the world of toys, along with Shane Samoli, who's our executive producer, and we have some other top-notch guys that are coming in, guys that have worked on titles like Halo 3, Mass Effect. As time goes on, we'll definitely reveal more of the team and get them more involved, so that way all of Paolo's rabid, awesome fans get to see that the Dust property is definitely in good hands.
So what can you tell us about the game so far? I know it's still pretty early in development.
Okay. Ariel, go on. You wanted to answer, go on. Yeah, I have a vision, I can share later.
I want to keep it. I need to keep a lot of it actually close to our chest. As you can see, if you go onto the Kickstarter page, just search for Dust.Evolution on the Kickstarter page that's going on right now. We've dubbed it RTCS, Real-Time Combat Strategy, but think of it. I don't want people to think that we're just another RTS, another StarCraft clone or something like that, because we are definitely so far away from that. It's not even funny. It's going to be more like a real-time combat simulator. and we're going to be releasing more details on the Kickstarter as it goes. And as time goes on, we'll give up more of the mechanics. But I mean, it's truly genre breaking. So I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to give the secret sauce away too much, but I can give up that a little bit.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Maybe you can answer this one for me. What would you say are some of the biggest challenges of taking something from a tabletop format to a video game format? Other than the obvious technical elements of building this game from the ground floor up, what kind of challenges have you faced so far?
Is it too early?
No, go ahead.
From my perspective, making a video game for Dust will bring the opportunity to play with vast armies. I mean, we're talking about playgrounds for our game, kilometers wide. So, translating a board game or a tabletop that you will play on your kitchen table, and so you have a very limited battlefield, and we are expanding those battlefields into huge areas. We can mass units, even divisions. I mean, it's gonna be amazing for our players to see the very same units that they know very well, with which they play on the tabletop, immersed in these vast landscapes and maneuvering. It will be a total new experience. But as you said, it's very challenging. I mean, we need to keep the balance of how the units work and perform. We need to respect the balance that exists in Dust Tactics amongst all those units and translate it into the digital realm. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
What's beautiful is that Paolo has spent the last 5 years literally perfecting Dust Tactics and its obvious offshoots, Dust Tactics Battlefield and whatnot. So they've developed this great balance. No unit is too powerful, no unit is too weak. The players know how to set up their teams great, but they're obviously only playing with maybe a couple dozen units at any time. So just like Paolo said, expanding this into this massive world where now we have a battlefield where you can put everything from a platoon to a company to a battalion, and it keeps on expanding. It can get pretty insane. But now that it gets more into the mechanics, and I don't want Dale killing me here, so
we'll save that for another day, for another interview. So, Paolo, have you been playing a lot of real-time strategy games to prepare for this experience?
I need to tell you the truth. I am forbidding myself from playing for years. I love to play so much that at a point of my life, I had to forbid myself. The reason is, games are too addictive. I wouldn't work for days and play. I used to play close combat. That it was so good. It was a real-time strategy game, and that was so good, so challenging, so interesting, so well developed. I mean, the landscapes were beautiful, the units were beautifully rendered, and the gameplay was fantastic. And my career as artist really resented from my time of playing the game so much that I forbid myself. I'm coming back now. I'm testing and playing a lot because, of course, this project forces me to play as work, and it's really interesting. But yes, I've been out of gaming for quite a time.
Interesting. So yeah, it's kind of the sweet irony of the whole thing is that now you have to create one of these games that will inevitably suck time out of other people's lives, myself included, I'm sure. Yeah. But that's okay. I mean, that's kind of the whole point. We want people to be engrossed in this world and learn about it and want to spend time there. That's why we create fantasy worlds. That's why we create video games. It's kind of why we do what we do, right?
Very true. It's a fantastic form of entertainment. It's wonderful.
Really
I am really happy we have this opportunity with the Dust.Evolution to develop the real strategy game for Dust. I think it's the perfect game for my universe.
So we launched the Kickstarter today. That was the big news. It seems to be doing really well so far. What are some of the big rewards that Kickstarter backers will receive by donating to Dust.Evolution?
Ariel, you know the rewards even better than me.
Well, obviously, aside from starting with the game packs themselves, you know, because we're offering the games in a couple of different flavors where you could either get it with a platoon or a company, we have a number of digital and physical rewards that we'll be able to give. You know, Veronica, from what you've read about Dust, obviously there's dozens of mechanical units, mech walkers, though what Paolo has been alluding to this whole time. We're going to be giving hero versions of those. Hero units of the people and personnel, you know, down from Sigrid, Koshka, and Bazooka Joe, who are the three main protagonists of the game, all the way down to commanders and whatnot. We're going to be giving beautiful, gorgeous art from Paolo Parente. You know, he's somewhere around there. Hand-drawn sketches from him directly. We're going to have our original Dust strategy board game. It was a precursor to this that we're bringing back that plays awesome. I mean, it's a great way to blow 3-4 hours on a night with your friends. We're going to have, you know, launch party access where we're going to have everybody gather to be able to play Dust Tactics with Paolo himself. If he even wants to kick around some old, you know, NES games, he could do that too. We're going to have, wrong word, elite, I don't want to use it. We're going to have beautiful premium walker pieces that you'll be able to get, along with all the other typical type of other typical type of swag, you know, from Dust.Evolution mouse pads, beautiful cloth map that shows the world as it currently is in 1947, the way it's controlled about the three factions. We're going to have a gorgeous hardcover art book and strategy guide you'll be able to go through all the different art for the development of the game, plus obviously some of the best tips and tricks from some of the best Dust Tactics players and whatnot that'll translate into Dust.Evolution. That and a variety of other things. You can just keep on going on the evolution.
Game resources, I think it's very important. The backers can get packs of resources that they will use to develop their units.
That's right.
Blueprints for their new vehicles. There is a lot of also of in-game rewards that I think make it very special, very very interesting. More than if you want just the objects and the toys. I think that the most important part of these rewards is the electronic part. Those things that you will use in the game itself.
Yep.
There's a lot. There's a wide variety of offers. I think it's brilliant. I mean, Ariel and Dale developed these pledges with great intelligence, because we're not just giving out things. We're giving out better gaming experience itself. I think it's a wonderful thing.
Couldn't have put it better myself.
Yeah, that was a great line. Well done, Paolo. So finally, why go the Kickstarter route? Why not go through the traditional, you know, big game publisher, big game development house situation that typically most people, I think, especially with an existing IP, would kind of go that way instead, license the IP, work with a big existing company. Why make all that extra work for yourselves?
I love the Kickstarter thing. I mean, I think this is it's so democratic. I mean, in the old times, as an artist, I had to, you know, go through portfolio reviews, be accepted as an artist, and get commissions. And when you want to propose yourself as an artist or your projects, this path is very long and very painful, and tends to turn you into a pleaser. The publisher will tell you, your vision of Batman is okay, but maybe, you know, it's frustrating. For an artist, it's very frustrating. Kickstarter gives you the opportunity to talk directly to your customers, to your fans, and to your customers. They will judge if your vision is correct or wrong by themselves. There is no filter. It's a pure direct connection from you as a creator to them as consumers. And it's so, I mean, taking away all these filters, for me, is the most beautiful thing that Kickstarter can do for creators. And I've seen projects from friends of mine doing great, especially board games, when the same board game proposed to a publisher would have been changed and would lose its soul, its essence. And through Kickstarter, they've been doing extremely successfully, and they exist in their purest form. I think this is fantastic.
Yeah, just like
reason why we decided to go through Kickstarter. We keep Dust true to Dust.
Exactly.
The Dust that the fans already know will be translated into a video game exactly, precisely, with no filters. Do I make sense here?
Yeah, perfectly. That was a great response. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap up the Hangout? Anything you want to share with the audience or fans of Dust Tactics or future fans of Dust.Evolution?
Well, friends of Dust Tactics, I need you to back this project. It's very important.
Friends and family. Anyone that wants to see a great, beautiful transition from the board game to the digital realm for Dust.Evolution definitely should go ahead and back this project, because it's gonna bring that vision and that dream of Paolo's 1 million players out in a way where we're gonna have so many people playing this. It's gonna be incredible, the model it's gonna be running on.
All right, well, Ariel and Paolo, thank you so much for joining me here today to talk about Dust.Evolution and the Kickstarter project. Of course, if you guys want to follow up on all the information about Dust.Evolution, you can head over to twitter.com, Dust.Evolution, also dustthegame.com or dustgame.com. And they're over on Facebook as well at facebook.com/DustEvolutionGame. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.